I'm standing on top of the motte and bailey of Plimpton Castle in Devon. You know mottes and baileys from your school days. They're those great towering lumps that the Normans threw up all over the country. And these walls are all that are left of the original castle that was built here over 700 years ago. Now, in towns and villages, normally the medieval stuff disappears. It gets built over and we lose it. But here in Plimpton, the local people believe there's enough of it left down there for us to be able to work out the layout and the boundary of the medieval town that existed at the same time as that castle. And we've got just 3 days to find it. Do we have any idea when this town started?
Oh, I think almost certainly in the 12th century. The 12th and 13th century was the boom time when lots and lots of new towns were laid out.
Laid out like Milton Keynes?
Yeah, exactly, with streets and properties and lanes, or, you know, deliberately pegged out and people encouraged to come and live on them. We can see it very clearly on the plan. There's the Motte and Bailey Castle at the back there.
Yeah.
And there you see this long street running through here.
Is that this street?
Yeah, the one we're walking down now. This
Yeah.
has got all these long, thin properties, these burgage properties, which are the town properties laid out at that time. And that's very, very typical of hundreds of new towns at that time that were laid out.
But there's no evidence of it now, is there?
Well, what you're seeing when you look down the street is basically 18th, 19th century buildings, or what appear to be that date, because people put new fashionable frontages on them all the time. If you really want to know about a place like this, you have to go into the buildings and up into the roof and round the back, because they don't bother altering the back bits, they only alter the front bits.
Keith, what are we doing here?
Tony, well, David and Sally here want to build an extension. And knowing that they live in a historic town, they called in a local archaeologist, and I came and had a look. It doesn't look all that old from the outside,
No,
but they'd been doing some work inside
Oh, right.
and showed me. Let me show you now.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Slightly different in here.
Right.
Yeah, what interested us in here
Oh, yeah,
was
look
this
at that.
later lintel. You see it's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this granite corbel is actually part of an older wall that is sitting behind. And the flank of a fireplace is sitting there. You can see all the soot in there. That's
So
quite-
what does that tell us about the building?
Well, it tells us there's a sequence here. This is later, and it's a rebuild of the front of this wall. It's an enormously thick wall. The corbel goes right the way back into it. And there would have been a large lintel.
I mean, that would have gone a long way that way, wouldn't it?
It could
I
have
mean,
done.
Do we know how far it would have gone?
Some of them are quite narrow, but given
Yeah.
the scale of this, I
Yeah.
suspect it really is
And it should
supporting a
have had
large lintel.
A big lintel on the top. right
Massive
there.
lintel that would have carried on out here.
Yeah.
And that's,
Through into... Is that the next room?
no, it's the next property.
Blimey.
Right.
Yeah. So it starts to create a bit of a puzzle.
So what sort of building might that have been?
It could have been a really massive medieval structure. And I don't mean just massive ground floor. We could actually mean massive upwards as well, because in the same stack, but on the next floor up, there's another early fireplace. What's really interesting is when you go to the outside, you
Right.
can see just how massive this building might
Right,
have
let's
been.
go outside
yeah,
then.
let's go and have a look.
Outside again. So where's the old fireplace?
The old fireplace is sitting just there on that side.
Yeah.
You've got another fireplace up there, and the stack's continuing on up.
Oh, yeah, Tony, if you come here, look, you can see that below the stack of that big piece of white wall is where it was wider before you get the tiles on the roof.
So the original roof would have gone up like that, would it?
Yeah.
The stack continued, it just would have been a big display stack. Or you've actually got a third floor, which is extremely unusual for a medieval townhouse.
So does that imply that the whole building would have stretched much further this way?
You've got it. You've got your fireplace in there,
Yeah.
with a lintel continuing on.
Yeah.
Look how this line of wall is set back. Now, if that's a medieval wall, and you've got a medieval marketplace up that way, I suggest it's likely to be going all the way up to join it.
Is it likely as well, O'Keefe, that it might have gone that way, across into the plot next door?
Yeah, that's a thought, isn't it? You could be dealing with a really massive building.
This building, Tan Cottage, really could have been huge and could have gone right up to the front street. Inserted in the garden wall at the back is a thick wall going east-west. Is this the back edge of David and Sally's house? And how far across into next door does it go?
It seems to me then we need to do some work in this area that will try and connect up that with your house. But we also need to do some work next door, presumably some geophysics. Do you think we can do that over there?
I'm sure you can. Peter's a very amenable guy. If you ask, I'm sure he'll let you do it.
And should we geophys here?
I don't think there's any point here, is there? It's too restricted a space, isn't it, to do very much.
You won't learn very much about it.
So, do we put in a trench?
Do an excavation here.
How do you feel about us digging up your garden?
No problem at all.
We begin work at Tan Cottage. First, we have to demolish this garden shed. It's right over where we want to dig. David and Sally had been planning to take it down anyway to make way for their house extension. In the garden next door, in Carlton House, Geophysics are looking for signs of a wall. So our search for Plimpton's past begins in 2 back gardens. Out in 4 Street, the main street, Berwick and Carenza are looking for evidence of medieval features inside people's houses. They're trying to find early fireplaces like those in Tan Cottage, medieval walls, and any wood we can get to dendro date. Here they're acting on a tip-off.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, look at this, Barrett. It's very similar to the bits and pieces we had at
Oh, that's
Tan
wonderful, isn't
Cottage,
it? Yes.
isn't it?
Look, we've got the corbel, that's the sticking out bit that we had lurking in that house in Tan Cottage on the ground floor, and the fireplace above had this big slate on edge. Oh, look at this. This is good. That's a light sconce.
Oh, wow,
so that
gosh.
you could have a lantern
Putting
or a
a
light
candle
here.
or whatever.
Lighting, well, it would have been a very big room with a fireplace that size right across the top of
So
the
it would
house.
have gone right
here.
to the back of the house.
I guess so, yes.
Yeah. What about that? Is that another light sconce?
Oh, no, that's interesting, because that's going to be the seating for one of the roof timbers, an open roof coming up and across this
Arching
big
up.
room. Yes.
Gosh, it gives you a very different feeling for what
Oh,
the house
yes.
would have been like
Well, of
compared
course
to
it
this
would have been,
little
yes.
sort of corridor space.
Yes.
Back at Tan Cottage, we're making good progress with the shed. Phil is keeping his eye on the archaeology.
Oh, look at that!
God, look, it's a mate. Look
It's
at
a
that,
gate
it's
post,
curving
isn't it?
right around. When
It's a shed post.
it's curved on the other side too. God, should we get it out?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yep.
Pop it down there. God, ain't that beautiful, isn't it?
Everyone in the incident room's incredibly busy. Sue has got the oldest known map of Plimpton from 1793, and she's laying over a street plan of present-day Plimpton to compare and contrast. Steve's going to be recreating some of the older buildings in Plimpton and putting them into his computer. Geophys have got the first plots, which they're just feeding in. Bernard is doing a survey of the entire area around the village to see if any of the geographical and environmental features tie in with all the rest of the evidence. We've got loads of documents and maps. This is the tithe map of 1843. And what are you doing, Robin?
You name it. At the moment, I'm trying to reconstruct 4th Street by tying in medieval deeds to individual plots. But it's fiendishly difficult because all the later deeds and documents have been lost, and we've got very few fixed points in the borough that you can relate things to.
Is this a few houses?
Yeah, these are the ones where we've got a relationship with the parish church, or the Chapel of St Thomas, as it then was. The other thing, one wants to try and put Plimpton in context, because it was the centre and focus of the hundred of Plimpton and the barony of Plimpton. It was a huge estate which stretched way out into Devon in the hands of an incredibly important family, the de Redvers family, who founded the castle here, built the borough, and dominated life in this neck of the woods.
What sort of period is that?
Well, we're talking in the 12th century. They were all caught up in the civil war between Stephen and Matilda. You know, good brother Cadfael stuff. I mean, there's still an awful lot to suss out.
Amazing. Well, I'll leave you to get on with it.
Cheers.
That's nice too, isn't it? Look,
As Phil continues to pull stones out of the rubble of the shed, we call Berwick in. What does he think of this lot?
That's the reveal there. Right, you're looking at the top of a window.
Right.
And you're looking at the window that's at least 2 lights, 2
Right.
windows, and the head of each window is a trefoil shape.
Right.
So that fits in there, like that.
Right.
And the other one would be the same, would come down with a mullion in the middle here.
Right.
Yep. And being a flat top rather than a pointed top, we're not looking at something ecclesiastical, we're looking at a window, a rather posh window in the back of a house, I guess. or the
This
side
is
of
a
a house.
posh building.
Looks like it. Yeah, well, comparatively so for a domestic building, yes.
How old is all this stuff?
Well, this could certainly be medieval.
The character of this stone is very much an indicative of a medieval date, because this would have come from the Abbot of Tavistock's quarries at Rowborough.
And when were they working?
So they were working from the 12th century onwards.
So I wonder where all this stuff comes from.
Well, of course, it's not accidental where we're standing, and who knows, it could actually have been part of this big building that we were looking at.
As we get on with knocking down the shed, Phil takes a look next door. Our first geophysics results have come through, and we've got good news.
We're on the lawn, and it's just possible we've got a wall line here.
John thinks he's found a wall running along one side of the garden in Carlton House.
And the results
Could
are
this be
very
the side wall of Tan Cottage? We open our first trench of the day. We have to be a bit careful here. This garden is home to a blind rabbit. Our work in the town's beginning to spread out. As Berwick and Carenza continue their search for medieval fabric, they're concentrating on the northern side of the main street. Across the street, we're working on Tan Cottage and Carlton House. But further north, on the other side of the Motte Bailey, is an open space called the Pathfields. Along the northern edge is a broken hedge line. Many locals believe that this is an old boundary dating back to the time when the castle was built. They want us to check it out. Mick,
Yeah?
what are your first impressions of this area?
Well, lots of interesting earthworks, like this one here I'm standing on.
Where's that?
Well, there's a terrace here, look.
Just here?
Yeah, which I think is probably on the line of the hedge.
Yeah.
But then there's others up here, look.
What, this here?
Yeah, you see there's like a step there. Where
Yeah, yeah.
And then another one above that, look.
Don't come with me, I'll come
No,
back.
don't worry, I won't.
Just here?
Yeah?
What are they?
Well, I think they're probably what we call strip lynchets. They're artificial terraces that have been ploughed. What happens is if you have a boundary and you plough up to it, the soil builds up, and if you plough away from it, then eventually you get a step. So they probably indicate early fields with early ploughing.
So what do you think we ought to be doing here this week?
Well, I think we'll do some geophysics on it, and
Yeah.
Stuart can obviously record these earthworks. He's good at that. You know,
Yeah.
he'll sort a lot out from it. Yeah, certainly cut a trench across there. Probably one across the bottom over there as well, because there's another earthwork in that field that we could sort of have a look at.
We're beginning to try to untangle the story of the Pathfields. We open our second trench of the day. It's a long one from the hedge line, which may have formed the old boundary, to the earthworks further up the hill. Stuart begins to survey, while geophysics are looking for a target area for a second trench up here. There's a lot of work to be done if we're to understand the relationship between this area and the town. Back at Tan Cottage, the shed is almost down. Our next job here is to clear away the rubble and dig out the topsoil. On their hunt for medieval fabric, Berwick and Carenza are learning a lot.
To hold the floor when that was one big room.
So the stepping.
Hot on their heels is a dendrochronologist, dating their finds.
Hello, we're from Time Team. We were looking at the houses in the town.
I'm really delighted to see this.
Just that brick chimney.
And here it is. Wow, Barry, look at that. God, it's enormous.
It's very large, isn't it? It's a goodie. It's a goodie.
It looks a bit like the one in Tan Cottage, doesn't it? The stone one, but of course this is wood.
Well,
What do
yeah,
you
in the
think
sense
about
that it's very broad and, of course, very thin, which is really quite unusual. This, of course, this room, we've come right through where the medieval house, and we're, as it were, out the back in medieval terms. So this is a stack that would have gone in medieval times and probably survived all the changes around it. So we might be looking at something that really is medieval here.
End of day one, Phil succeeded in digging what must be the ugliest trench we've yet dug on time, team. But we've spent most of today coming to grips with what happened in Plimpton above the ground. Tomorrow, we're going to start looking below. Beginning of day two, and before we even had time to have a cup of tea, we get this excited message from Berwick saying he's found something at number 10.
It's this one, I think.
Right.
This is too early for me, Tony. I don't get up this early, you know.
You behave, you.
My life support system doesn't come on till 10 o'clock.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, is Berwick?
Oh, it is.
Yes, yes. Come on in, come on in.
Thank you. Hello?
We're going to go through to the back.
Right.
I'll show you something there, look. You've been looking at some medieval.
Oh, look
Oh,
at that.
yes.
What
right.
date's that
Now
then,
we do.
Berwick?
Well, it's got to be very late 15th century or sometime through the 60s.
And what's it made of?
Granite moorstone, laboriously carved into this moulding.
Beautiful.
But come outside as well, because there's a little window out here that's very much the same.
Oh, this one here?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Look
Yep,
at that.
Yep, the same slack head.
And this
so-
is definitely medieval too?
I think so, yeah, or 16th century.
So you've got a window and a door together. What are they part of
Well, come upstairs and see what's right up the top here, and then I think it'll begin to make sense.
then? Jolly good. Right.
Great what you find in people's houses, isn't it?
We're now going up into the attic space. This is parallel, along here is parallel to the street.
Yeah.
And so there'd have been a great hall under here.
Yeah.
And then through here, running back through the house, is that.
Oh, Struth, look at that. What date's that then?
Well, I guess it's the end of the 15th century, but there's enough timber to get to Dendro date, so we'll get Bob onto that.
Right.
Why would you have such an elaborate roof for an attic?
Well, it wasn't an attic. Look, let me explain to you. Oh, a bit old for this sort of thing now. Don't admit that. Don't admit it. Right, look. This was an open roof. The floor level wasn't here. It was right down underneath, about another 10 feet down.
Yeah.
So you'd have looked up and you'd have seen this magnificent roof. And it's an arch-braced roof with these members here arching underneath this tie, which takes up the weight and holds the rest of the roof. And that sort of roof is a West Country special that we have down here in the West Country, all from the end of the 14th century right through into the 16th. And this particular one, I think, is dating from the late 15th century. But we'll have to wait till Bob gets Dendro date to be sure.
This roof is a really important discovery. It's very well preserved, and it's unusual to find a full arched braced roof like this in a town. Robert arrives to Dendro date it. And Victor's drawing it so we can reconstruct what the building might have looked like. At Tan Cottage, Phil has at last started to dig, and he's already getting results.
Looks like you've got a good back edge to the east-west wall running through there.
That's this one here.
Yeah, that's that one down there.
This is a much bigger wall.
It's bigger than anything you've excavated so far,
the
but
infinite.
but you're looking at exactly the same
There it
proportions
is.
to the main
There
build.
it is.
You've got it there.
There's
right.
the other edge.
Right. Well, we really are looking at a substantial structure
Brilliant.
But does this wall line up next door? Now that we know where it lies in Tan Cottage, we have to rethink, and we decide to extend our trench in Carlton House.
Yeah. That should be fine. That gets the wall well into the trench. We've got enough space the other side to work on it.
there. Yeah, we need enough space to work downhill from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, about there. Let's double your workload in one.
Let's see where you write. Yes, oh, there we are. That's a bit more.
Back in the incident room, Carenza is piecing together old maps. She's searching for evidence of earlier buildings that may have disappeared.
93. 93 is a tan yard.
So that's Pathfields, isn't it?
Yeah, with their sort of boomerang-shaped trench. And you can see the patch of clay at one end, which must be the bank of the old field boundary we talked about. The castle's quite prominent, look, with the motte. And then the classic Mott and Bailey shape, sort of H shape of the round mound with the stone tower on the top, and the Bailey, the enclosure next to it.
And here's the main street.
And here's our main street over there. classic shape, just one long street with the burgage plots on each side. We see sort of wrapping itself round the bottom of the castle, almost like a kidney shape, really.
Why do those back gardens just arbitrarily stop?
Well, I think here they're following the stream, which you can see running round the back of them. But in other places, they're all the same length, and they stop at a lane which services the back of the properties.
It's odd how all the houses on the main street are so tight to the road.
Yeah.
And then you've got just that one pulled back.
Where?
There.
Oh, on the corner there?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's great.
Why?
Well, that could mean that there's a medieval building in the front garden of that one, and they've set it back later. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be buried in the front garden. So we ought to get on to Carenza to look at the maps. Carenza, are you there? It's Meg. We've just spotted a building up here.
I just spotted a building.
Tony's just spotted a building which is set back from the road. It's right down the western end.
Yeah, we just have been, actually. Yeah, it's 103 set back from the road. And in fact, in 1793, there's a series of properties butting right up against the road there. So they may be still there in the garden. Over.
OK, got that.
What I think I'll do, Mick, is it's the only chance we're going to have of getting to archaeology at that end of the town. So I think I'll run down and see if we can maybe open a trench up there, if that's all right with you. Over.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let me just relay that to Tony. Yeah, she's saying on the 1793 map there are buildings there in the front of that property. So she's suggesting we put a trench in and see if there are actually any buildings there.
That's Carenza, isn't it?
Yeah, running down to the building, look. God, she's quick. Yeah, she's got the right one, look.
I actually saw something from the air this time.
You're coming on. You'll get there eventually. You are a smarty pants, aren't you?
Oh, hello. We're from Time Team. We're investigating the sort of medieval history and archaeology of Plimpton. And
Carenza's excited about the possibilities here. On the 1793 map of the town, this house doesn't exist. But in what is now the present front garden, there was a row of buildings. These could be medieval.
we've measured on the map, and we've worked out the building should be about 7 metres wide. What we'd like to do is try and put in a trench that would hit that back wall 7 metres out. So if we just measured out here, you see we're 7 metres out is there. So
you want to dig a trench as long as that, would you?
No.
Oh, right.
not all the way to. Hopefully the back wall of this building would be about here.
Okay.
So in the 18th century you'd have been standing inside the building here. So if we started the trench there,
right,
maybe about 2 metres long, so just as far as this.
All right, just a small trench then.
And we make it about 1.5 metres wide, so it'll take about there. So basically it'll just be this small square here, and hopefully this will be outside the building, this will be inside it, and the back wall of the building should come through about here. Hopefully we'll find it in the trench. Would you be happy to have us dig that? We'll take the turf off very carefully and put it to one side, and then when we finish digging, all the spoil, all the earth will go back in the hole, and we'll lay the turf over the top, just as it would do if you were getting turf from the garden centre to turf an area.
Oh, okay, well, okay, if you... Yes, well, it'd be very interesting, wouldn't it? Right, okay.
Right, that's wonderful. We'll catch up with you later then.
Right.
Well, you'll be able to watch us from the dry of your house while we get wet
Do you
out
bring
here.
a digger in now, do you?
No, I mean archaeologists rather than
right.
mechanical diggers. We won't bring a mechanical digger in here, which is far too much of a mess.
Further along the street, Phil's wall is getting bigger. And we're beginning to find pieces of pottery. Next door, we're also making headway. We've found what looks to be a wall. It's not as substantial as Phil's, but it is a start. Damien Goodburn joins us. He's a carpenter who specialises in working wood using medieval tools. Over the next 2 days, he'll be trying to reconstruct one of the roof beams we found earlier from one single piece of oak, as they would have in medieval times.
And do we know that's the way they'd have done it in medieval times?
This stage of the work, the hewing stage, yeah, pretty much. They'd have marked the log first with a chalk line, like you can see just here, as a guide. It may look crude, but actually it has to be done reasonably accurately. Then they would cut weakening cuts or scores, these lines here, with a narrow, heavy axe, and then split off the waste in between.
They wouldn't use a saw then?
They would use a saw later. In this case, we're actually going to square the beam up and then saw it in half to make a matched pair of principal rafters. So it makes a sort of rigid A which holds the roof weight.
The medieval town's beginning to take more shape. As Berwick and Robert continue to dendrodate along the northern side of the main street, we turn our attention to the other side. Many of the houses on this side have cellars.
It actually looks like it's part of a cellar, and you can see the sort of
Yes.
opening down there.
Some of which may have early walls.
6 or 7 feet.
Keith and Carenza are following up a lead.
That's much more the kind of thing that we're looking for earlier walls.
I mean, this is sort of could be medieval, couldn't it? That sort of thickness.
It's possible it could, yeah.
This is what brought my interest down here, was this beam here.
Right. Well, it is really massive.
There's chamfered on the top here. Look.
Really?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, that would have mean it would have been sitting on top of a wall and would have effectively been like a wall plate that took the line of the roof upwards.
Oh, I see. So what's it doing down here?
Well, quite, yes.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because it's a 17th century house on top of this beam. Therefore, this beam must be pre-17th century.
That's right.
And the beam sitting on top of that wall.
Yep.
That wall could be pre-17th century.
The wall would have
sounding
been
very
sitting
medieval.
here. Yeah, the wall would have been sitting here. And then this would have been brought down, because it's such a massive beam, to take the weight of the floors of the 17th century house. So we are looking at pieces, basically, of an earlier medieval house.
Oh, this is a bit different, isn't it?
Oh, look at that.
Nice, Sally. They got you working as well. I bet she's glad she invited us in her
Oh, I
back
bet
garden.
she is.
That's fantastic, Phil. That's more like it.
I'm glad you approve of our excavation, Mick.
What is this thing?
It's a beautiful wall. Stone-built wall, nice facing, clay packing. I mean, there's a sheer scale of it. This is a big wall of a big building. It's not just a little boundary wall.
So what will we do with it now? Will we look for a turn, or will we...
Well, the first thing is to get the whole area cleaned up so that we can record it, photograph it, draw it, and then we should start to excavate either side of it.
Can you say it's medieval?
We'd pretty much like to think that it is, yeah. I mean,
It's almost a yes.
yeah.
The nearest you ever
I
get.
think we're getting masses of pottery out of it. Well, that's where we've had to press Sally in, and we got so much material coming out. I mean,
all this stuff looks pretty recent to me. Am I wrong?
it is very mixed, actually, Tony. We got some very, very good medieval pottery. I mean, there's that, for example, which Keith got very, very excited about. I mean, pretty sure that that is an imported medieval pot. The quality of the throwing, I mean, the people then were able to make good quality pots like that. But look at that.
Oh,
Presumably that's not just a jam jar.
No, I reckon it's a small drinking goblet or something like that. You can see how delicately thin wall it is, and then that rather nice little decorative band put around it. I'm pretty sure that's old. I mean, the way that colours, the glass is discoloured like that.
I mean, I think what we actually need is somebody to go through this stuff, local pottery.
Oh,
or something
God,
to tell us what sort of date it is, don't we?
Is it phone call time?
I think it probably is.
See you later.
Yeah, okay.
See them.
Next door we have a puzzle. We now have two walls here. The top one is running east-west and is probably late, but the one at the bottom looks like it could be a boundary wall for our big building. We can't be sure about this until we remove the top layer, so we record it before cutting through it. Our woodworking is coming on well. Using an axe, Damien has squared off the
To
beam.
get the face true, you have to use a plumb bob to ensure that the bottom is pretty well parallel and square with everything else. So
That's
it's not perfect, but
that's
it's
still
not too
pretty
bad.
good, boy.
It now just needs to be marked before being cut into two matching beams.
Brilliant.
It's a good job we haven't got Rob in here. I don't think we'd get him through this hole. Wow, look at that.
Oh, right, yes.
What do you think? Wow. Is that a window, isn't it?
It is. It looks like
a
a formal window. There's a splay on that side. Aren't we below ground here?
It looks as if the ground level is about
Up
that
here.
floor level.
Yes, and you've got this floor inserted across
But
the
then
top.
if that's a window, the ground level must have been lower at some point.
That's right. And there's a wall.
The window down here is an important discovery. If the ground levels have changed this much, then there may be other medieval walls under other buildings. This could be a very useful lead. So we begin to survey the street to see if we can find any evidence.
And they've got this lovely little
We've been finding loads of this kind of stuff. It's been coming out of the trenches like there's no tomorrow, and it's virtually all medieval. But the problem is, around here, medieval can mean anything from 12th century through to 16th century. So what we need now is dating evidence. We need a date for the wall in the trench at Tan Cottage, we need dates for this pottery, and we need dates for all the fantastic pieces of wood that we've been finding in the houses all over Plimpton. And once we've got those dates, we can begin to piece together the hidden story of Plimpton's past. And we'll be trying to do that tomorrow.
Well, I find the light.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that.
What is it?
Well, it looks like a window.
Looks old, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a sort of 17th century or something like that. Yeah. But all blocked up. I think we should open that up and have a look behind it.
What, smashed through?
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Come out this way, because we're actually at ground level at the back here, look.
Yeah.
Through that door there, out into the garden.
Yes.
So if you come up the stairs here, because we know that this place was rebuilt in the about 1590, 1600.
This looks 18th century.
Yeah, well,
doesn't it?
it's yeah. So there's several later phases to it. But
Yeah.
if you go out the front door,
Yeah.
you see that when you get out here,
Yeah.
that window that we were looking at is somewhere down here.
What, below the ground? Yes,
Yeah,
of course it is. Yeah.
because we've come up the stairs there, so it's actually down there.
Then what's the point in hacking through? Surely all we're going to get is the earth under the pavement.
Well, probably not. We think there might be a gap, because if you come round the corner, look, and look at this tube in the ground. Shine your light down it, look.
Yeah. Ah.
There's the original edge of the building, and there's a space next to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Why?
So, well, if that goes round here,
Yeah.
there should be a space behind that window.
Yeah.
Now, I think the answer is that this building formerly faced out onto the marketplace here,
Yeah.
with the church at the back, look.
Yeah, yeah.
And at some stage when they rebuilt it, because you can see this fantastic building at the front.
It's a real Georgian frontage,
Yeah,
isn't it?
what they must have done is lifted the road up so it gives a nice grand entrance to the house, and in so doing it, they buried the earlier front of the house underground to make a cellar out of it.
So if we can get through there, we'll be able to find out what the fascia was like at the front.
Yeah, yeah. You see why I like buildings? They're fantastic, you know, always finding new bits about them.
You're a big kid, really, aren't you?
I do like buildings.
Up in Pathfields, we're beginning to get some answers to the question of the boundary line. But what we don't have yet are concrete dates. So we're opening a second trench across another earthwork to see if we can find anything there. Inside the old rectory, we get underway with the drilling.
And that last bit just splits off like that.
Look at that.
At Tan Cottage, Phil is finding more pottery.
Oh, look at that. Let's have a look down.
While next door, we're still looking for the eastern edge of the building. Down at 103, we've found some stonework, but it looks like it's running away from the street rather than parallel to it. We dig on. Back in the incident room, we've called in a conservator to help us date the finds, while Sue is reconstructing the glasswork we found at Tan Cottage. You're back.
Really? Oh,
Yep.
hi. We were just
Yep,
discussing the results.
These
here.
are the dendro results.
They are indeed,
Yes.
and we've
Excellent.
got one or two really, I think, quite exciting dates, perhaps.
From 4 houses, timbers from 4 houses. I'm going to show you which ones they are on the screen. Sue, can you pop up that Here we are, look, they're all in the same part of the town.
So where should we start?
Well, let's start with
Chapel House, yeah.
Come on,
Okay,
I'm
right. Right, that's that really fine roof. That's a good
Yes.
roof. Now, I get the felling date for the timbers up there between about 1460 and 1480.
Well, we're all right. Yes.
Why do you say, we're all
Well, that's
right?
that's what we were saying on stylistic grounds.
The roof is integral with the structure.
Using our sense of what it should be, judged by other ones we've seen.
The form of the roof is right.
And the quality of the craftsmanship, all those sort of intangible things.
and
So you're both happy about that?
Yes, we're
Very
happy
It's the
with that.
first time this weekend.
Well, I think the results are reasonably believable. But shall we move on to, let's say, penthouse?
Yes.
In the passageway, there are those timbers underneath the fireplace or holding
that's
it.
right. They bridge across the passageway to support that fireplace on the first floor.
Well, one of those has a felling date at about 1270 to 1305, would you believe?
That's the timber right at the back, underneath that inserted fireplace.
That's right.
That's more like it.
If that fireplace is inserted, surely there's another possibility that might emerge here. You're saying that that beam that you've got the early date from runs underneath the fireplace. So doesn't it suggest that if you've got something like a hearthstone that's resting partly over that timber, that your so-called inserted fireplace might actually be of that early date?
It would if I could buy it stylistically, but I find it very difficult to think that that fireplace is that early.
But, I mean, the problem, isn't it, surely, that we are always arguing from stylistic criteria back to the structures. And as we build up more and more dating with dendrochronology, we can actually start to perhaps rethink some of the so-called fluorescences of these styles, and some individual features we might be able to take back.
It may well be, and maybe that's true.
OK, let's go on then.
All right, well, the next fireplace, and I dare say this will cause equal argument, is number 24. And we got a really interesting date for that, and that is a felling date of sometime between, let's say, about 1275 and about 1310.
We've got the same problem again.
It's only one timber, remember.
I'd feel quite happy if that was a reused timber from somewhere else, built into that stack at the end, well, at some time, I don't know when, the end of the 16th century again.
So would I.
These two men are being incredibly polite, but in fact, I think they're having a furious argument. The basis of it seems to me, essentially, Beric, you're saying that if a fireplace looks like another fireplace or a series of other fireplaces that are of a certain date, then it's likely to be of that date, whereas you're saying, actually, if you look at things like the dendrochronology, even though you might think that it's later, it might actually be much earlier.
I don't think we've built up enough evidence from a range of other sites to be able to be absolutely sure that a certain style will actually date the fireplace. What I'm interested in is the timbers that are used in it, and this lintel is crucial because I think that that lintel is integral with the stonework, which looks fine medieval stonework. The structure looks a good medieval structure, and I like the idea that that is integral, and it's a 12th century, late 12th, early 13th century fireplace.
I like the idea too, but there are things about it that worry me. There's a moulding along the front and a detail that I find difficult to put so early, so we're back to the stylistic side again.
And what's the significance of all this as far as Tan Cottage is concerned?
Well, in Tan Cottage, there's a chimney stack with two fireplaces in it. One like one of the ones we've been talking about and one like the other. And they're both presumably the same date. Either very early or very late. And I think they've got to be quite late.
And he thinks they've got to be early.
And there's a reason why I do, and that is because the lintel of the upper fireplace
This row is going to go on all through the rest of the day. I think we should break for lunch and let them sort it out. Hopefully by the end of the day we'll have come to some conclusion.
But you're still basically now what I'm doing is I'm using your stylistic argument against you.
As Beric and Keith argue on, let's take a closer look at these dates. This roof dates from before Shakespeare's time, and these fireplaces from not long after the Norman conquest when Plimpton was first set up. So our search for early medieval fabric has come up trumps. We now have pieces going back over 700 years to the very time the castle was being built.
How are you getting on then, Carenza?
Hello.
It's a long time since I was round here.
We're doing quite well, actually. I think we've got about as much information out of this as we're going to get.
Yeah.
We've effectively, we've got a wall coming through there.
Yeah.
It's running, you
Oh,
can
right.
see it's running at right angles to the street. We thought when we put this trench in that we were putting it across the middle of this building here.
Yeah.
Whereas in fact, because we're right up against this property boundary, we've obviously put it against the long bit of this building. So I think we probably won't get the back wall in the trench.
Right.
John's actually out there geophysing at the moment, and
right.
well, with a bit of luck, he might have the results.
Well,
by
let's
now.
go and
So-
see,
well,
because
let's go and see it,
he
yeah.
should be able to pick that up, shouldn't he?
He
from
should
the-
be, yeah, and it was a tan
geophysics.
yard as well.
Yeah, so it would have been sort of smelly on the edge of town.
Yeah, so you wouldn't really
Good
want.
Lord, what's that lot?
Have you not seen this?
What are they?
We're
Opposite
using
birds of prey, aren't they?
We're using a new technique here, known as
Get
falconry.
off, get off, come on.
No, we're sending electric currents through those probes that they're sat on, and it's giving us a detailed picture.
Well, what did you get anyway?
Well,
Outside
we've
the area of the
actually-
birds.
We've got some really nice results.
Oh, have you? Oh, fantastic.
I've actually put them onto the plan
Oh,
now.
right.
And
Good Lord.
there's several things of interest. The first one being this rather broken
Oh,
anomaly
yes.
coming through on this line. And it's purely of interest because of
That's-
the boundary you were talking about,
That's
Corinne.
more or less in line with where the wall is in excavation. Up
That's
there,
right,
isn't it?
because the trench shows the property boundary to about there.
But then there's this clear one curving through on this
Yeah,
line,
yeah.
and then a second linear, and they're both crossing at the sort of angles you were talking about earlier, Corenza.
I'm really interested in that line because Beric and I yesterday were looking at this whole question of how far the Burgess plots went on the south side of 4th Street. And we had a look sort of down people's back gardens and things and noticed there's a change in the makeup of the wall at about that point on that wall. And there's a whole series of modern boundaries that survive onto the modern map now along there. Then at the back of Tan Cottage, there's a change in the makeup of the wall there. And so we were sort of wondering if the back line of the Burgess plots on the south side came at about there originally. And this feature that John's got there, which is just by this little building here,
Yeah.
which is that one on the map here. So that's running through about
And
there.
you've got that bit surviving on the 18th
That's
century
right,
map
yeah.
there.
So that then suggests there's a line coming like this, which gives us a series of very nice, regularly laid out Burgess plots all along the south side of 4th
So you
Street.
think they were even size either side of the street?
Well, they are, aren't they? That
And
size
they were
is
extended on the south side, but they couldn't on the north side because of the castle.
because there wasn't the space.
And we've proved that the new technique of falconry works.
So you'll be getting your own falcons now, will you, John?
So now we can say that the southern boundary of the town actually stopped here, halfway down the plots as they stand today. And we know that the northern edge was along the side of the castle. But what of the Pathfields? Can we say what happened to the boundary of the field system up there? Neither trench has produced any firm dating evidence, but we can confirm that the medieval field system continued across the hedge line, so we can give the area a history. The field system stretched across the northwest corner of the site. It was used for farming in early medieval times. Then the enclosed area, complete with hedge line, was placed on top of that, possibly as early as the 14th century when this was common practice. When Plimpton House was built in the 17th century, the area was used as a deer park.
What our excavations have shown is something of the relative sequence of things there. Basically, we set out with earthworks that you can see that form part of medieval fields. Our excavations have found the boundaries that were cut to form those and the banks that made up the line of them. So you've got a medieval field system, and your enclosure is a bit later.
It doesn't quite go with your desire to find an integrity for this field, though, does it?
I think what we thought was just a simple big field that turned out to be far more complex and had a real history over hundreds of years. There's even been talk of maybe it being a deer park, and I can visualise a herd of deer going through. Perhaps that'd be really nice. But still as a local amenity for people to enjoy. I think that's what it should be there for. It's an open space that's been there, preserved for hundreds of years, and we ought to continue with that.
Across the incident room, Robin has been busy. These documents date from 1305. They're property deeds and relate to specific buildings next to the church. The buildings have long gone, but they give a fascinating insight into early life here.
Here you've got the shop and solar which Henry Le Palmer gives to his daughter Joan, and he talks about the latrine house and the hall that he has behind. He even talks about how he sold a property opposite to Peter Crispin just before 1306.
It's amazing you've got names
That's
and
right.
dates, isn't it?
You go
Really?
one further down the street, and here you have the house of Gilbert the Tailor,
Amazing.
and later owned by John, son of Gilbert the Tailor. And then one further down to where Martin of Chaleswich lived. But it's lovely that you can recreate this tiny little bit of the old borough by piecing together these medieval deeds, simply because they were next to the parish church.
Oh, this is absolutely fantastic. Just think, what, a couple of days ago, that was one round log. Look what you've done. You've created this wonderful piece of roof furniture. You can come and build my house any day, I mean. God, look at it. Oh, that is really solid.
It's okay. I think it would hold up a roof for a while anyway.
God, not only for a while, for a few hundred years, I
Quite
shouldn't
possibly,
wonder.
yeah.
Incredible piece of work.
Back at Tan Cottage, we're finishing off. Even at this stage, we're still finding things. Like this pin, which dates from the 14th century. The vase Phil found is also 14th century. This jug dates from the 15th. And that wonderful glasswork also dates from the 15th. Many of these finds and the stonework in both Tan Cottage and Carlton House suggest an important building. And now we can work out what it might well have looked like. Meanwhile, at the old rectory, we've almost broken through the cellar wall. This cellar was once actually the ground floor of a medieval house. This new house was simply built on top, with the earth raised to bury the ground floor into a cellar. A gap was left around the edge, possibly as a very early means of damp proofing. Behind here, we may see the outside of the medieval building. It's a pretty exciting moment.
Have you got that camera?
Well, yeah, let's try the technology. Is the light on? I'll poke it through the hole.
And we'll have a look and see what.
You watch the telly.
Right.
Mickey Mouse comes on, we're in the wrong one.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got that?
Oh, yes.
Hang on a sec. Was that any good?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's the bottom of our wall that we've just, this wall here. That's the foundation.
Shall I swing it about a bit?
Yeah, down.
Down.
Down a bit.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Down a bit more if possible.
Down a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Bit more?
That's the foundation. That's the big stones at the bottom, and look, there's
They're
all laid up.
edge-set stones, aren't they? Yeah.
And what's this?
Well, that's a big build-up of the road surface.
I tell you what.
So it's just earth?
Yes, I think so.
These are the footings, Keith?
Yes, I think those are the footings down there.
I mean, Keith, what those remind me of is at Carlton House and was it York Lodge that
That's
we were
right.
looking at? They've got these sort of footings where you've got stones laid
on
edge. And we've seen them in 2 of the Burgess plot boundaries. I mean, that really suggests that the whole of the town was laid out really as one sort of operation. We know it's very regularly laid out.
It's a single event. And
all
it marks,
built in the same way.
Yeah, it marks
same foundation
the
technique, same walls.
Foundation
like
of the borough.
Barrett's estate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Victorian terrace.
Yeah.
It's basically you're looking at 12th century town planning.
Is this what you expected?
Not at all. It just makes my flesh creep to think that, in a pleasant way, to think that I'm almost being a voyeur on times past. It's incredible. It's like living on top of a ghost. Very exciting. And it's like going back in time.
When you've finished this historical discussion, can somebody else come and have a go at this?
Stop moaning and just carry on, Mick.
Bloody crucify.
What started out as a hunt for a boundary has turned into a fascinating journey into Plimpton's past. The medieval finds from Dave and Sally's house tell us that here there used to be a high-status medieval building, and it was huge. It stretched from way over there in that garden, all the way back to here, and then right up this alleyway. But from our point of view, what's most interesting is that the row that we've all been having over the past 3 days has been resolved, and now everyone's happy that this is part of a 13th century chimney stack. We've managed to sort out the story of the Pathfield parklands, complete in some people's minds with a park full of deer. We've managed to work out what the boundaries of medieval Plimpton were, and we've got precise dating for pieces of wood which tell us that some of them were part of buildings that the Normans put up over 700 years ago. And if we'd been around during that time, behind us there would have been a thriving, bustling medieval market with streets full of shops, and behind them big medieval halls, and on top of them beautiful roofs, the whole place buzzing with ordinary people going about their everyday lives. Not bad for 3 days' work.